But let's go ahead and get into it. All right. So, in the book of Mark, chapter 3, beginning of verse 1, and it says, "And he entered the synagogue again," talking about Jesus, "and a man was there who had a withered hand." Okay. So they watched him closely, whether he would heal him on the Sabbath so that they might accuse him. So we got the religious folks right here watching Jesus, trying to catch him, trying to find any excuse to, to get him caught up. Okay? And he said to the man who had the withered hand, "Step forward." Then he said to them, to the Pharisees, okay, the religious folk, "Is it lawful on the Sabbath to do good or to do evil, to save life or to kill?" But they kept silent. And when he had looked around at them with anger, being grieved by the hardness of their hearts, he said to the man, "Stretch out your hand." And he stretched it out, and his hand was restored as whole as the other. Okay, we're going to stop right there. Do you think, Lord? One of the things that we got to understand, okay? Jesus will meet us exactly where we are at, okay? But he is not okay with leaving you where you are. We got to understand that Jesus is not going to come to us and he's not going to downgrade himself. He's not going to water down who he is and customize himself to your life. We got to understand that he'll meet us where we are, but he's not going to leave us where we are. It's not a pick and choose. We surrender our lives to him. Okay, there's going to be a level of discomfort. Okay, just want to say that real quick. So they watched him closely, whether he would heal him on the Sabbath so they might accuse him. And he said to the man who had the withered hand. For those of you, I'm sure most of you know what a withered hand is. If you do not know what a withered hand is, it's pretty much his hand was crippled. Something was wrong with his hand. His hand was messed up. Okay? Now, maybe some of you watching right now might have some type of a physical disability, okay? Maybe some of y'all maybe you have a withered hand or some type of, physical disability. Here, the man had a physical disability, okay? His hand was withered. And I mean, just try to envision it for a second, okay? This is a man who back in the day, he probably had a wife, probably had kids, probably had to provide, he had to provide for his family. And back in those days, most of the things that they did was physical labor. So imagine having to, I mean, even just everyday life, just doing things for himself. Having to, to bathe himself, clothe himself, feed himself, just the basic things that we take for granted. And here he is with a withered hand. Now imagine if he has a wife and kids and he has to go to work and he has to do everything that he has to do and provide for his family, just how difficult it would be with a withered hand, okay? Now, for most people, it's something difficult. It ain't something that you walk around just kind of showing, hey, everybody look at it, okay? It's something that's difficult, especially when people are not very considerate about it. Now, I want you to understand one thing, okay? Jesus didn't heal this man just out there discreetly. He asked him to step forward. There's going to be times in your life when Jesus is going to ask you to step forward. Now, you might say, well, I don't have a withered hand. No, you might not have a physical withered hand, but we all have, spiritually, we all have some type of withered something. We all have mentally, emotionally, spiritually, we all have something withered, something that is disabled. We all are wounded. We all struggle with something. We all have some type of disability because we're wounded spiritually, mentally. I mean, it's something that we got to understand, and you got to get real with it, okay? Now, the time is going to come where Jesus is going to ask you to step forward, to come and stand in front of everybody. It's going to be something where he's, you know what I mean? It's going to be uncomfortable. But what I love about this man right here is the fact that Jesus told him to step forward and come in front of everybody. And he listened, he obeyed. I can just imagine this person was, you know what, like, I'm sick and tired of you know what I mean, like not being able to do everything that I know I'm able to do because of this. I'm not able to, you know, provide for my wife, for my children. I'm not able to do everything. And here was his opportunity to be healed, to be made whole. Now, a lot of us would have been like, no, thank you. That you know what I mean? I'm not going to go in front of everybody because that's too much for me. I'd rather just stay here in my little comfort zone where nobody can see me. Now, Jesus did not ask this man to step forward just to, you know, humiliate him or nothing like that. Jesus asked him, you know what I mean, just to step forward because he wanted to make him whole. The one thing that I want to encourage you to do, and I'm asking you to do, is do not get so caught up in your little comfort zone that you're going to miss the miracle that Jesus has for you. He said to the man who had the withered hand, step forward. Okay? And when he had looked around at them he asked the man to step forward. Then he said to them, is it lawful on the Sabbath to do good or to do evil or to save life or to kill? But they kept silent. And he had looked around at them. And when he had looked around at them with anger, being grieved by the hardness of their hearts, he said to the man, stretch out your hand. And he stretched it out, and his hand was restored as whole as the other. What are we going to do? Okay? What are we going to do when God says, stretch it out? Whatever it is that I don't know what it is, okay? Whatever it is that you're struggling with, whatever it is, I don't know. I don't know what it is that you struggle with. I don't know what it is that keeps you from reaching, you know, your full potential. I don't know what it is that keeps you in your comfort zone. I don't know what it is that keeps you, you know, kind of hidden. I don't know what it is that makes you reclusive. I don't know what it is that hinders you. But what are you going to do when God calls you out and tells you to step forward? Will you step forward? Or will you be too focused on what everybody else thinks, what everybody else might say? Will you step forward? When God, okay, when Jesus tells you to stretch it out, to put it out in the open where everybody can see it, are you going to be too embarrassed of it? Are you going to be too worried about what everybody thinks and what everybody's going to say? Or are you going to put it out in the open and allow Jesus to heal you? Because a lot of times we'll get distracted by what's going on. This man could have been easily distracted with the religious folks. You know what? These religious folks are doing this and that, and they're trying to kill Jesus. You know what I mean? There's always going to be some type of distraction. Regardless of what kind of distraction it may be, there's always going to be some type of distraction. But this man had a choice to make. Do I step forward or do I not? Regardless of what the excuse might be. Okay? Jesus said, stretch out your hand. You have an option. Do I stretch out my hand or do I not? Am I going to be so preoccupied? So many times we see things in the Bible where Jesus asks us to step out, just like he asked Peter, step out of the boat. Jesus had an option. Peter had an option. Do I step out of the boat or do I not? Let's be honest. A lot of the times, like logic tells us you don't step out of the boat. You ain't going to, you know what I mean? Like you don't do that. A lot of times your own thoughts, your own fear will tell you don't do it. What are people going to say? What are people going to think? Listen to me. If Jesus is asking you to step forward, if Jesus is asking you to stretch out your withered hand, regardless of what it might be, don't miss your healing. I'll be flat out right now. Like, I'll be honest with you. I didn't just reach it yesterday. I've been in a point where I don't care what people think anymore. When it comes to my relationship between me and God, I don't care. If back in the day I didn't care to look like a fool for, you know what I mean, for whatever reason, now I don't care to look like a fool, like an idiot for God. I don't care. Like, I know what God has done for me. I know how much he has healed in me. I know how much he has delivered me from. And I have reached a point in my life where I don't care anymore. Is it nerve-wracking? Yeah, it's nerve-wracking. You know what I mean? The unknown is always, kind of scary. I know that. I mean, you know what I mean? Right now, I'm in a season in my life where it's kind of scary for me. Okay? Jesus already told me last year, the reason why, you know what I mean, it was kind of, it was kind of an uneasy season. You know what I mean? The reason why I wasn't there, talking very much to you is because I was making your roots grow. And then he told me last month, listen to me, the reason I was working on your roots is because I need those roots to be strong on what I'm about to build. I needed to be able to hold what's about to grow. And the other reason as to why I need those roots to be deep is because the storms are coming, and I don't want the storms to knock down what I'm about to allow to grow. So for me, it's like, man, praise God, my roots went deep and I'm about to grow. That's awesome. But now I'm it's kind of scary to know that storms are coming. Is it kind of scary? Yeah, it's kind of scary. But at the end of the day, I know who I got to trust in. I know that my God is not going to let me down. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. Let the storms come. I know that it ain't going to knock me down because my God already made sure that my roots are going to be deep. Listen to me. Do not let anything or anyone deter you from stepping forward when God asks you to step forward. Do not let anyone or anything deter you to stretch out your hand and reach your healing when God is trying to heal you. Folks are going to have something to say regardless. It don't matter what it is. People will always have something to say. Do not allow that. Do not allow it to get in the way of you being healed. So many of us go through life with that withered hand, regardless of what it may be. I don't know. Everybody, you know what I mean? Everybody's, it's different. But I encourage you, do not allow anything or anyone to stop you from stepping forward if God is asking you to step forward. Do not let anyone or anything to stop you from stretching out that withered hand and receiving your healing. I don't know, this ministered to me today, and I pray that this ministers to you. Man, let's keep going. Let's keep growing. I encourage you, don't stop. Let nothing stop you. If God is calling you, let nothing stop you. Keep going. I love you guys. God bless you.